Yes, hi children. This is Swarup sir. Today, in our English class, we will discuss 14th The Rose on the Mountain. It's a poem written by W.K. Holmes. So, what is this poem about? The Rose on the Mountain. Before connecting to this lesson, let me ask you a question. Which is the most unexpected event that has ever happened to you? Describe it. Thank you. Now, to reflect, make a list as many unusual object pairs as you can. For example, a tie and a pen. Unusual object pairs. Tie and belt, we can see the pair, but tie and a pen is an unusual object pair, so you can list out. You open your school bag to find an unusual metal object with a dull glow. Use your imagination to describe it and tell the class what it can be used for and how it came to be in your bag. How it came to be in your bag, you need to tell. Next, we will discuss word bank. Word bank. Brow, B-R-O-W. Here, a slope leading to the top of the mountain. Austere, very simple and plain. Wreathed, covered. Morrow, the next day, tomorrow. Refrained, kept oneself from doing something. Restrained, held back. Divined, became aware of. Tribute, a gift given as a mark of respect. Let's move on to the poem to learn more. Okay. You can find the strangest of things in the strangest of places. Let us read this poem to find out where the poet found a rose. I found a rose upon a mountain's brow, crimson and glowing, fragrant, fresh and fair. What does it mean? So the poet himself walking on the top of the mountain. Brow means here a slope leading to the top of the mountain. So the poet found a rose upon a mountain's top, brow, the top of the mountain. How was it? It was crimson and glowing. Crimson means red. Glowing. It is shining, it seems. And fragrant. Fresh and fair. It is giving some smell, it seems. Good smell. Brow, let us code with A. Fresh and fair. Fair, let us code with B. Children, you can see the picture here. This is summit. Here, mountain top, peak we can call. So the poet is climbing this mountain and walking on the peak, on the top of this mountain, which we call brow. So he found a rose here, and it was looking red. See. It was lying on the top of the mountain, on the brow. It was red, crimson. Crimson means red. Yeah, you can see here. This is red color rose, glowing, shining, It is fresh and fair, gives good smell. Understood? I found a rose upon a mountain's brow, crimson and glowing, fragrant, fresh and fair, and paused in wonderment to gauge, for how should a rose, sorry, for how should a red rose lie there? Once again, and paused in a wonderment to gauge, for how should a red rose lie there? How? So, bro, coded with A. Fair, there, coded with B. So, when the line is ending with the same sound, we need to code with the alphabet letters. Right? So, here the poet stopped in wonder and he started staring, looking at that rose. And he was surprising how could a rose lie there. Next, there was no place for flowers, that grim grey crest. Let's only lichens live austere and proud. It checked the wind's strong fury from the west, and wreathed its rocks in cloud. So that is the place that is the place where no flowers plants grow. Only that place is unattractive, grim grey crust, and only lichens will live. It's very simple and plain. The place was very simple and plain. It checked the wind's strong fury from the west and wreathed its rocks in clouds. So there is a lot of strong wind comes from the west, it seems. It blows from the west. And it is covered with rocks in clouds. It was such a height. It was covered with rocks, it seems. Then how could the rose comes there? Only lichens grow on that place, an unattractive place. Let us see what is lichens. Yes, you can find on the stones some grassy substance growing on the stone. See, the stone is covered with grass, some kind of grass. This grass type growing things is known as lichens. You can see here on every stone is covered with some green type of grass growing on it, very little. Those are called lichens. You can also call them moss and lichens. Understood now? Next stanza. And on the morrow, if the wind should still, from the blue depths of the sun reveal his power, how pitiful upon that sky-crowned hill would seem a fading flower. So the poet was in wonder, he was in surprise. On the next day, morrow means tomorrow. On the next day, if the wind should still, if the wind passes from the blue depths of the sun, reveals his power. If the strong wind passes on that place, then how could that flower will stay? So hot wind passes. If the sun shines brightly, because of hotness, the flower color changes. How pitiful upon that sky-crowned hill. It was on the sky. It is almost like sky-crowned hill on the top of the mountain. So on the top of the mountain there was a flower. It changes its color. Then he was thinking himself, how pitiful it is, how sad it is. Because of the sunlight, the color of the flower changes. Still, quoted with A in the second stanza. Hill coded with A. Second stanza. Third line. Second line in this stanza, power coded with B, flower coded with B. So when the sound ends with the same, when the lines are ending with the same sound, we can code with the same letter. Now next stanza. When night should come and in the heavens cold, the pale moon pass upon her pathway high. With what chill pity would that wanderer old look down and watch it die? So when the night should come, when the night comes, what happens in the heaven cold? So if the moon shines brightly, the pale moon, light falls on it, and it is very cold. Because of that coldness, because of the chill, that may die, the flower may die, the glowing will disappear because of the coldness. Because of the hotness also, it may change the color. Because of very cold also, it may die. So the poet himself saying that, how pity, how sad it is. Yes, last two stanzas. Should thus the beauty of a rose be lost, I stooped to take it up and yet refrained. A curious thought my careless fancy crossed and my intent restrained. So, maybe the beauty of the rose will be losing because of hotness, lot of hotness, or because of the lot of coldness. I stooped, I bent to take it up and kept myself from doing something. So kept himself doing something, it seems. Poet, he bent a little bit to take a rose, but what happened? You can see in the picture he was bending, right? So he bent to pick up the rose, but he stopped in taking it. A curious thought in his careless fancy crossed. In his mind, a thought was running. What was that idea? Not to take it, and my intent restrained. Then I held back. Last stanza. Perhaps some climber in a charmed hour divined the ored those rocks among, and left the valley's tribute of a flower, as I would leave a song of the words. So the poet is thinking that maybe the climber who is climbing this mountain climbed the mountain in a very good hour, in a charmed hour. He divined, he was fascinated towards the beauty of the scenery of the mountain. That's why divined means here became aware of. He was aware of that mountain. That mountain name is Ored. Okay. Ored means a mountain spirit. Those rocks among and left the valleys tribute of a flower. So the beautiful values, the beautiful mountain, the scenery. He saw that mountain, and as a tribute, he has given the flower there. He has left the flower there as a tribute to the mountain. Yes, I would leave a song of the words. As I am reading this poem and saying this poem and singing this poem, that is a tribute for the mountain. The climber left the rose as a tribute, and I am leaving this song of the words as a tribute. So he did not touch the rose and he did not take it. Instead of, he also tributed with a song of words. He is W.K. Holmes. I hope you have understood, children. You can see the word in a line ending with the same sound. How? Flower. You can code with A. Among is not there. It's not matching. But as per it is matching, you can code it.